I was reading Steven Pressfield's blog today, and I'm going to borrow liberally from his blog because I just think he's so brilliant. Much of what he says could be applied to any artistic craft, whether you're a painter, a singer, an actor, a director, whether you write novels, nonfiction, screenplays. He blogs about writing. He is a screenwriter and a novelist and a nonfiction writer. And today he was talking about the artist's most important skill. Listen, we can debate this until the cows come home. I mean, we can say, is it talent? Is that the most important skill for an artist to have? Creativity, maybe? Persistence? A depth of compassion, perhaps? Maybe imagination. You know, maybe you should have an imagination, or maybe it's mastery of your craft, whatever that craft is. Maybe that's the most important skill to have. Maybe it's something more commercial, the ability to sell oneself, like to pitch. Whether you're a screenwriter, screenwriters often have to pitch. Whether you're an actor, the ability to audition, to sell yourself in the room. Maybe that's the most important skill to have. He talks about all of those things, and then he says, but none of those, in his opinion, are the most important skill. In his opinion, and I think I'm going to agree with him, the most important skill to have is to be able to do the work consistently over time. And that means if you're a writer, button in chair every day. It means if you're an actor, you're going to do something on your career every day. Same thing if you're a director. Now, there are actually he outlines three components to what that means, consistently doing the work over time. And I think these are three important components. So let's talk about them. The first is the negative. Now, why would we start with the negative? The negative, interestingly enough, is the ability to not do what you shouldn't do. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means if you have a bad habit of putting things off, of saying, I'll get to it later, of doing, spending all your free time on social media or television or video games or whatever it might be, that you stop doing those things that take you away from what it is that you want to be doing. So, and he talks about resistance a lot, and he says those things are really just resistance. They're the manifestation of resistance, which is your mind trying to get you not to do the thing that you really want to do. But you have fear about doing it, so you put up all these roadblocks and you come up with all these ingenious ways to get out of doing the thing that you should be doing or you want to be doing. So it's like, oh, I have to clean my room. Oh, I have to do the dishes. Oh, I need to get on social media. Oh, you know what? I really need to do some email. They're all forms of resistance. We've all been there and done that. So you have to identify what your particular forms of resistance are so that you can stop doing it. The second thing is the positive, the flip side, which is the things to do. So if you're a writer, it's butt in chair, hands on keyboard, writing. Okay. That's an easy one. Okay. If you're a writer, you write. What if you're an actor? I know lots of actors who say, well, I can't act unless I'm hired by somebody else. Really? Really? I'm going to call some BS on that, because you can act and practice your craft every day. Yes, you can. You can. I have a friend who does a monologue every night, but you can download scenes off of various locations, or you can just get them from plays, and you can learn those scenes. If you know what your brand is and what shows you're right for, you can go download scenes from those shows that you would be right for and learn those scenes and put them on tape. Just use your phone. Like here, my phone is recording me right now. I could be, instead of talking to you, I could be doing a scene. I could be doing a monologue. If I needed to practice cold reading, I could just pick up a magazine, an old textbook from college, and open it up to any page, turn on my camera, and start reading, and then watch it back and see how often do my eyes flick up from the page, and how often am I down like this in the book and not looking up, because it's a skill that you can get better at the more you practice. You can practice. The same thing is true with directing. What can you do? I say, directors ask me all the time, what do you mean I can practice directing? What do you mean you can practice directing? Well, the first thing you can do is download those exact same scenes for those television shows that you feel you would be right to be, that are in your wheelhouse to direct. If you're a drama director, download some dramas. If you're a comedy director, download some comedies. Depends on what kind of comedy you like, but download a couple of scenes from some comedies. If you're a procedural director, download some scenes from procedurals, and then break down those scenes and shot list them. How would you shoot them? What camera angles would you use? What different shots would you shoot? It's the same as if you got hired to direct those scenes, so go through the motions as if you got hired. It's a muscle. Exercise that muscle. Do the work as if you were hired. Do the work. Just because you haven't been hired doesn't mean you can't practice your craft. Yes? Okay. The third thing is, of course, duration. So we've got the negative, the positive, and duration. What's the hardest thing? Duration. Why? Because anybody, any kid can practice not doing something, can practice doing something. Even if you have a full-time job, and trust me, when I first started my career, I had 2 jobs. I had a full-time job during the day and a swing-time job at night. So I worked until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I went at 6 o'clock at night and worked till 1 o'clock in the morning. And I still had time. I still had time to do what I needed to do. I found the time and I made the time. And I worked on the weekends. That was my third job, was 1 day on the weekend. But I had 1 day off, and I could make use of that day off to work on my craft, and I found time at my various jobs to, they didn't know it, but I found time. I would squeeze a little time here and a little time there to practice my stuff. I did, you know? So even with 3 jobs, I found time to practice my craft. 3 jobs. 3 regular jobs, okay? You can do it. If you want it badly enough, you'll do it. Thank goodness all I do now is my thing. But there was a time when I had to work really hard to make this happen. And I understand working really hard to make it happen. I do. because I've been there. The third thing is duration. That's the hardest thing. What's free time? Whoever has free time. You don't need free time. So duration seems to be the most difficult thing for most people. So let's talk a little bit about that. Duration is the thing that is where most people get left in the dust. Let's put it that way. Because this works best when you continue to do it, day in and day out. You get really good at whatever it is you're trying to get good at by putting in the hours consistently. That doesn't mean when you're on an assignment, say you're writing a script and you want to finish that one script, so you put in a lot of hours on that one script, and then when it's over, whew, I'm done. I can take a break. I don't have to write anymore for the next 2 months or 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever. And then you start writing another script. No, it means every day. Every day. You're consistently writing every day, every day, every day, every day. It doesn't mean if you're an actor that you only put the time in when you get hired to play a role and you really work hard during that period of time that you're learning that role, but then after you finish the play or the movie or the TV series or whatever it is that you were learning that role for, that you go, okay, now I'll take a break and I won't work on anything until the next role or until my next audition or the next time I have to learn something for someone. No, every day. You work on your acting every day. If you work on your acting every day, then the next time you have an audition or the next time you have a role, you're better than the last time. You're so much better than the last time because you've been consistently working on your craft. If you do the same thing, whatever that craft is, if you work it consistently every single day, you will, I promise you, get better. And the improvements will happen so much faster than you think they will. So much faster. And that is, I think, an artist's most important skill, is working their craft consistently over time. Not big bursts when it's being called upon, but consistently over time. It's the difference between the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise goes, woo, woo, look at this. I got to work on this now. Whoa, okay, oof, okay, I'm going to rest now. Whoa, look, I'm going to work on this now. Okay, now I'm going to rest. And the hare is like, a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day. Every day I keep moving a little bit, a little bit. I'm just going to keep doing every single day. And who makes it to the finish line first? The tortoise. He's got something there.